Hey guys, and welcome to Wrestling Days. So, where do we begin? One of the most emotional Raws I can remember, or certainly the ending was. Before we start this week's Raw review, I think it's worth just telling you a quick story. WWE back in 2011, I think it was, were performing in the UK, and they did a house show in the city that I was living in. But the next morning, I lived in the city centre, and the next morning I popped down to the shops and had to walk past the Radisson Hotel. And I walked past the hotel, and outside were several fans wearing WWE shirts, and there was these two massive buses. So obviously, you know, I thought, wow, maybe there's a star or two that stopped the night there. So I waited, and I ended up waiting for 2 hours. Not that long really, but considering I'd only just popped out to get some bacon, a bit of milk, it was a little longer than what I was anticipated being out the flat for. Eventually, no word of a lie, every superstar came walking out. Randy Orton actually walked past me. He'd just come from the gym. Sheamus came from the other direction with Arn Anderson. They'd just been to the gym. John Cena came out. Ziggler came out. R-Truth came out. So all these superstars came out, and they came over. Like, a lot of them came over. John Cena obviously came over, but the kids were at the front, and obviously rightfully so. John Cena signed their bits and posted pictures, and then jumped onto the van. The only superstar that day, at least, that came over, signed everything, had a picture with everybody, could not have done more, was Daniel Bryan. As a result, I've been a fan ever since, and it's that connection with the fans. You know, you can't, I know I'm only telling you stuff that you know, but it really hits home when you look around that roster. You can only see a few wrestlers that have got even the potential to connect to the fans like what Daniel Bryan did, let alone can they actually carry it out and do it. But anyway, let's talk about Raw. So really strong Raw. If you follow me on Twitter, then you will have seen that I sent out a few comments saying it looks like they're going to make us watch a normal Raw followed by Daniel Bryan retirement, and it did go down that way. I was very surprised at the crowd. I thought that they would have been chanting for Bryan more. There was very few Daniel Bryan chants throughout the evening. Very few yes chants throughout the evening. We had a "We Want Lana" chant at one point. The crowd just seemed a bit off. A really strong opener anyway, so really good start. Ambrose came out leaning against the desk, only wanted Lesnar, which was brilliant. Reigns then interrupting Steph. You know, it was a funny moment as well. Lesnar coming out and delivering the F5 to Ambrose. It was fast paced. You know, Triple H came out. It was fast paced. There was loads going on, but it was quick. It was short. It was good. This fearless Ambrose is definitely the right way forward. I do have an issue with the low blow later in the show, just because that shouldn't be what Ambrose is about. Ambrose should be proud, should be calling Lesnar out. If he's going to have a beating, he should take that beating and then ask for more. Again, exactly what we saw later in the show. But Ambrose shouldn't be delivering low blows. I mean, are we really saying this is the only way you can beat Lesnar? I mean, Undertaker had to resort to it as well. So maybe it is. The low blow is another concern from Ambrose because it shows his frustration. There's a massive spotlight on him at the moment, and I can't tell if him getting beaten down is only going to make his victory at Fastlane sweeter, or if they're just beating him down and then he's going to take the pin at Fastlane as well. This could be leading towards a heel turn for Ambrose, and I just think that would be the worst idea. So first proper match was Kevin Owens against Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens telling Michael Cole to shut up repeatedly throughout was funny. His trash talking is brilliant. In fact, him talking to the announcers is very clever, because what that means is that it guarantees that they talk about him. He's also in several feuds at the moment, which again is very clever because it means that he's got options. You know, he can have a feud with Ziggler, he can have a feud with Ambrose. He can have a feud with Sami Zayn. He even eliminated AJ Styles, so there's enough of a backstory there for them to feud after he's finished with Miz and Jericho. I like Ziggler, but really Ziggler's not had his time, but certainly if WWE were going to do something with Ziggler, I just get the feeling they would have done it by now. I've got more faith they will do something with Kevin Owens at this stage. He is their best heel, and they really need to be building him up. I hope that we see a Ziggler-Owens match at Fastlane, and I hope that Owens absolutely destroys Ziggler. Next up, Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. Gotta be honest, I went to the bathroom at this point. Not an Alicia Fox fan. I have watched the match back this morning. It was okay. She gets in a decent backbreaker, but largely it's Charlotte steamrolling Alicia Fox. But that's fine, you know, the Divas Champion should have a big victory or a good victory every now and again. Flair didn't get involved, but it's always good to see him on screen. We're building towards Brie versus Charlotte. Really hope Daniel Bryan's in Brie's corner. Just because the man's retired doesn't mean we shouldn't be seeing him. I just fear that he's going to go away now, start a family, and he'll become a house husband. Which again, you know, if he wants to do, no, more power to him. But now that we know Daniel Bryan's not going to be an in-ring competitor, now would be a really great time to show him on TV more. Next up, Miz TV, quite entertaining. Really enjoyed Jericho coming out, flipping it over to the highlight reel, as I know a lot of you did as well. Doesn't really matter if it's a highlight reel or a Miz TV, they only really change the carpet. But I like this. I think this is maybe building towards a match at Fastlane of Jericho, AJ Styles and The Miz. Just on a side, JBL actually mentions that Leicester are top of the Premier League, and he's got a history of doing this, JBL. Like, he's spoken about the cricket before. I know that he spent a lot of time in England. I've got to tell you, it does resonate and it does connect with me when you're watching an American show, an American company in America, and you know, you get these little mentions, just these little things. You know, he spoke about the Dynamite Kid before, and he spoke about Davey Boy Smith. I really do appreciate that of JBL, and I hope that he continues to just drop those little things in. Next up, Ryback versus Bray. Ryback coming out with new ring attire. Nothing too drastic. I was really hoping he was going to drop the Feed Me More. I just think that's a very PG gimmick. He's got this big look about him. He's a big, strong man. He could be a Goldberg type character, but he then comes out with this very, very PG Feed Me More kind of nothingness quote. There's rumours that we'll see Ryback Goldberg. They're thinking of bringing Goldberg back, and from what I've heard, Goldberg would come back for the right price. I think that'd be awful. I think that Bray Wyatt has lost his way. I think we'll see Wyatt Ryback at Fastlane, and then I think we'll see Wyatt Lesnar at WrestleMania. That means that Ryback's going to get buried. And I really hope that Lesnar gets buried at Mania. I want them to bring in Sister Abigail. I want them to really put a rocket on Bray Wyatt now and just push him. We talk about Kevin Owens being the big heel in the business. They're sat on Bray Wyatt, who could have been Undertaker-esque, but Undertaker was never ever booked ever in his career as poorly as what Bray has been over these past few years. New Day promo, absolutely brilliant. Enjoyed them. I think they're funny. They keep me entertained. The absolute opposite could be said for the Goldust and R-Truth promo. I've actually enjoyed their promos in the past, but this was so wide of the mark. It was literally Goldust dressed up as Jimi Hendrix, achieving nothing. Next up, we had Ambrose call out Brock. Really, really good. Loved how he, you know, was insulting him, saying, was that an F2, an F3? Because it couldn't have been an F5 earlier, because I thought that would have conquered me. He's standing there, he's taunting him, he's insulting him. Out comes Brock, hits him, you know, beats him up, then hits him another F5. And then just that calling him back from Ambrose, absolutely brilliant. But this is why that low blow was so disappointing. You know, he's a fighter, let him fight. Next up we had the Luchas against League of Nations. Obviously no Sheamus around because of his injury. Barrett was there, which was nice to see, but in ring it was Del Rio and it was Rusev. Del Rio picks up the victory over Kalisto, which means that Kalisto is surely going to keep the title. Not sure what that means for the Lucha Dragons going forward. I'd love to see a Sin Cara versus Kalisto feud, but like a really lengthy feud. That could be cool. Next up, Becky versus Tamina. Sasha on commentary. Sasha's commentary is better than the commentators that we actually get. I found her informative, I found her entertaining, certainly when she compared herself to Beyonce and described Team Bad as, or the other members of Team Bad as the other girls. So this is built up to Becky and Sasha against Tamina and Naomi at Fastlane, which is what we thought was going to happen. I think this could be a fun match. I think it's just going to be a throwaway match. Who wins? I think it needs to be Naomi and Tamina because without a victory, they are going to be lost. Tables match, very, very quick match. Only real talking point. Mark Henry came out as the world's strongest unicorn. And Dudley's heel turn, much needed heel turn. Hopefully this will set us up for Usos against the Dudleys, against New Day at Fastlane for the titles. And then that brought us to the Bryan retirement speech. I've got to be honest, I watched this again this morning. I found it just as upsetting this morning as I did last night. He speaks about the fact that he has medical tests about a week and a half ago. Now, from what I'm hearing, this means that I think it was some kind of a speed reaction test just before Royal Rumble. Had he have passed, he would have been in the Rumble. He didn't pass. It confirmed their worst fears, hence why he retires and chooses to do it in front of his hometown. I'm amazed that this crowd didn't do more Bryan chants throughout the night. I think that WWE dealt with it well, actually. Looking back at it, it meant that we've still built towards Fastlane, we've still built towards WrestleMania, but Bryan certainly had his moment. Raw overran. I thought there was some funny moments in there, certainly when he's talking about shaving his beard, you know, addressing the elephant in the room and that being him having to shave his beard, the yes chants and him saying that's what Brie says. Those moments, humorous moments, are so juxtaposed by, you know, the fact that he's being forced to retire. When Daniel came out and just breathed in all that adulation, it was a real moment. You could tell he was soaking it up. I was still hoping for a swerve. I was still hoping for one last match. That's why I'll be at WrestleMania to retire. But you know, his health has to come first. He's got a wife, and you know, hopefully he'll have a family soon. And I'd love to see him on TV more, but we'll have to see. It's his decision. I thought the speech was bang on. See, what we lost last night wasn't just Daniel Bryan from an in-ring perspective. It was that hope of him returning. You know, there's really not that many people that have connected the way that he has with the fans, and we constantly, or certainly I constantly, was hoping that he was going to come back. You know, at the Royal Rumble, he was one of my picks, and I know that he was one of the bookie favourites. So this retirement takes that hope away, and that's what we lose. There's really nothing more for me to say. If you want to watch his matches, they're all out there. You know as well as I do what we've lost, and it's devastating. If you're feeling down about it today, just know that you're not alone. Thanks for watching. I'll have more cheerful videos for you soon, well, hopefully at least. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Days UK. As always, thanks a lot for watching. From Daniel. Goodbye.